I am loving the Chanel, by the way. You look.
I never wear lipstick, so I'm trying to wear lipstick.
How's the weather out there?
Today it's gorgeous. It's
Oh.
like, even yesterday, it's like 20 degrees. I can't complain. That's 20 degrees Celsius. So.
Exactly. I think it's like 70 or so. I think it's around 70 degrees if I've been looking right. Before I do anything, you're going to be my first Instagram story. I have decided that I'm going to try it, so I guess I still have to hold it.
Too bright. I've got a window right in front of me. Is that too bright?
Oh, no, you're fine. I know better? I'm kind of like in the shadows there. I don't want to glow, you know.
Open.
Oh, that looks great. Yeah, you're great. All right, here we go. Ready?
Okay.
Let's see. There's Rhonda in Australia. All right, that is my first story.
I've never done it. I've heard people talking about it. I can't see it. It's all glaring.
Oh, darn. It looks great.
I don't even know how you do that.
I've got Rhonda right here. She looks awesome with her Chanel, you know. So tell me about Stella's Awakening. Share your baby.
Okay, Stella's Awakening is the book that I wrote that I wanted to read. Everyone always says, you hear that quote?
Yeah.
So we just had a little chat this morning about, we were sort of messaging each other on one of your photos about rereading a book.
Yeah.
And that was my 50 Shades of Grey. And that's the first book that I ever reread. And it was the first book that I'd ever read of in the erotic romance genre. Mm-hmm. And it affected me. And if I could say a book changed my life, I'd say it's that book that did, because it's made me become the author I am today, that made me want to read more erotica too, and then to write my own story. So that's how.
There you go. That's awesome. So that quote word, it says to write what you want to read. You actually followed the instructions.
I did.
Stella, does that name have any significance? What made you pick that name?
I liked it. That's as simple as it is. I liked it. I don't know. We had, with my daughter, we whenever she used to want to make up games, she'd always play schools. And it was always, she'd say, what's your student name? And I just would say Stella. I don't know where it even eventually came from. But we'd use Stella a lot. So when I went to write my female character, I just thought, well, it's going to be Stella, because it seems as if she's been living with us.
Yeah. So Papa knew, she's known Stella long before we ever did. And so when you were inspired, I understand that 50 Shades of Grey was your inspiration, so to speak. What gave you that story?
It's based on my story, on my life, actually.
Really?
So it's a very embellished version of my story.
Cool.
Yeah, so they say another quote is write what you know. So I wrote what I knew. Yeah.
Wow.
I just felt with the connection with reading 50 Shades, and I just felt there was something in my life, in my story, I felt that there was something that I could tell. And whether it's something that I just felt that other women could probably connect with that as well, whether it's they're trying to get away from a religion, in my case, or if it's, just someone domineering, some other kind of force in their life that they can't get away from, or they feel trapped, or they feel they can't do something. Yeah.
Because I've asked everyone, are you anybody in that story? Is this you? Is that a part of you? And everyone's always saying, nah, not really. But you are. You actually did. Cool. So how long did it take you to write her?
Beg your pardon?
How long did it take for you to write her?
It took me almost 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Almost 2 years from starting to write it, which originally it wasn't like I wanted to write the book, but I didn't ever think I was going to publish it. So I just had the story started going in my mind, and I thought, I'll just write down a few little characters. I'll pick the names of the characters, and I'll write a little, what their personality is going to be like and what they're going to look like. And I just started doing that, and then eventually I just started writing it, and in the evenings I'd just sit down and write a little bit more, and then I thought at the end, well, I've done this much, why don't I try to publish it? So I went down that path.
And where'd you see, other than pictures of the of Thor?
Chris Hemsworth.
Yes, because I was looking at Thor and I was like, what's his last name again? The Hemsworth boys. Tell me
That's
where'd
fine.
you get those? Where did you get those the character development?
Well, I didn't originally start with that. Okay, I didn't originally because I wasn't going to write a book to start with. So I didn't really think about it that deeply. But later on, as the story started going, I had to remember things about people. So
Yeah.
I can remember, hang on, do they like that or they don't like that?
Yes.
And I did read, I got on to Joanna Penn. She's a blogger, and I started, not a blogger, I think she does a blog too, of course, but she does a podcast. And I started listening to her podcast. And she does a lot about self-publishing, and through that I learned about other little tricks and things.
This sounds
and
good.
She interviews other authors on her show, on her podcast. And she interviews authors, and they often give really great advice. And one of them, I don't remember who it was because I've listened to so many, was saying to sit down and write about each character, what they like and what they do, and, you know, even simple things like their favourite colour or the music they like to listen to. So I did. I went and sort of did that, and it does help. I think it really does help it because it really makes your characters a real person.
Yeah.
And what I find is really, I don't understand it, but it is magic. And Elizabeth Gilbert wrote that book, Big Magic, and she talks about it. And
I read that. It was amazing. Yes.
It is. And I really believe it's magic because I go down to sit down at my computer to write, and I don't know why the characters say what they say or why things happen. It just at the end of it, I'll say, I can't believe that my characters did that. So I learn about them. It's like a friend. I feel like I learn about them, and then I think, oh, then they're going to do like this. So then I add to my little list of what they're like, and then their character grows. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So it took you 2 years to write it. Did you? Does that include going back and revising all the editing and everything as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
awesome. It
awesome.
wasn't until about I published it. Yeah.
That's good. That's not bad at all. That's not bad. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. Why Stella? We covered that already. And okay. I love asking this. What about your writing quirks? What's the one thing? Is there something that you have to have? Is there music playing, or is there a certain snack you got to have on your desk other than a cup of coffee? You know. So what are your writing quirks?
Or a cup of tea. Hubby usually keeps me up with the cups of teas and coffees at night. I can't remember what I wrote before, but I don't think I have a real writing quirk. I remember I said that I don't have a quirk as in I need something or I have a favourite whatever, but I think my writing was a quirk. Yeah, because, well, I don't think it is now because I see so many people writing in that way, but I think I wrote in that paragraph that when I first started out and I think I'd mostly written the first draft of my manuscript. I joined a writing group. And I went to this writing group because I thought it would encourage me to do more writing and help me out. And you could read a little bit at the group. You'd read out a little bit of your writing. And so it came around to me, so I read a couple of paragraphs. And at the end of it, everyone's like, oh, my God, you wrote in first person. And then somebody in the group offered that they would read my first chapter and give me a little bit of feedback on it. So I thought that was really nice. So I gave it to them. He emailed it back to me and rewrote my whole first chapter.
Oh my goodness!
For me.
What is it about the fear of first person? I thought that it made it more personal, and I really went. And this is really going to be funny because let me grab this really quick. I remember. Let's see here. Okay. Now, I don't think. When I read Stella, I didn't have my chase at first because I was reading out. I was camping out on my blanket and my pillow and everything, and I remember reading things and going, "Oh my gosh, you know, because I kept thinking, I felt like it, you know, I nod, you know, I do this, you know, so I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm going through this. This is really, you know, and it made me. I think I appreciated it. That much more. I think that Stella's Awakening was my first true erotic novel because I didn't even have interest in 50 Shades for some reason. I'm probably the only one on the planet that has and that's what Stella's Awakening did because I felt the professionalism, I felt a little bit of fear, but until the craziness got going on. I'm not going to give any information away for anyone who hasn't read it, but I really felt that the life and the adventure, especially the motorcycle ride,
Oh yes.
I was able to relate to that. First off, you guys love motorcycles because I saw the picture and I love that, by the way. The adventure you described, I felt that same thrill and enjoyment as well. So when you wrote it, did you have any angst? Were you kind of nervous when you wrote some of the scenes, or what was going through your mind on some of these scenes?
It was difficult to start with, to be honest, and it was really difficult to when I first got even just friends to read it, because I felt as if I was exposing myself in a way. So that was probably where I felt. In writing it in my own home, nobody looking at me is probably not too bad. But when it's sort of got to go out there to somebody else, that's when I start thinking. And I live in a really small little town, a little community, and I was selling, if unfortunately it closed down now, but there was a little cafe, little trinket sort of shop that they had here, and I sold my book in there. So a lot of local people bought my book. So some of the mums up at the school, when I dropped my daughter off now, they sort of give me a little
honestly, it was in great taste. Even when I was like, oh my gosh, it was great. It wasn't repetitive at all. When they first engaged, tell me what you think she was feeling, other than what was described. Was it just liberation, the background that, no spoilers, that kept her from growing up with a lot of things that we all took for granted, Yeah. So tell me exactly, and I guess you can kind of give me some real information, because some of this is you. What was that? Sure. What were those emotions going through there for her?
Yeah, so there's a lot of emotions there. A lot of it is that liberation, that feeling of, and excitement, trying new things for the first time. That's always exciting. Get to try something new, and if you like it, you want more of it. But then at the same time, there's that guilt that comes in, to think, I shouldn't be doing this. And so the feeling of guilt that even you're going against people that you've loved and trusted for so long. And it wasn't because it might be easier. I don't know. I haven't been in a bad sort of kind of situation, but whether it's easier to get away from that because you know that it's bad or it's unpleasant, but because it's okay and it's the way you grew up and it was nice and it was good, and then to realize that perhaps that's not the way the world works, or that I can have something better, or I can have something exciting. I can live the way that I want with freedom and. Yeah.
Exactly. See, I feel like I know you too, because I remember seeing a picture. Do you still have the sign taped on your chair?
Yeah. You can see?
Yeah. So did something like mega happen with you, similar to that it was you going through this?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a memoir then.
Yeah, I came to the point. It's very embellished, but very similar, because I came to the crossroads where I had to make a decision, and I've finished writing the second book, and
it's done. She's done.
Yeah, I'm editing it at the moment. I'm editing. There's a lot more to make up in this story. The first one was a lot easier because it's so similar to my life. The second one's very, very different. But it's been fun.
Oh,
but
man.
It's still that conflict is still there a bit. And I'm great now because it's been 13 years, but for a long time I couldn't talk about it without crying. But because of that having to come to that point of making a decision, and either way you're going to hurt somebody, and either decision I get hurt as well. Right, so Stella gets hurt in the story because she has to make that choice, and it's a hard choice to make when it's two things that you want so much and you can't have both.
Our second book is coming. Without giving information, what tidbits can we look for with Stella?
Okay, the second book reveals much more of Conrad's background. So the first book, it was a lot about Stella. You didn't hear much about Conrad. So she talked about the tattoo on his chest. She thought that he was hiding some secrets. He didn't want to talk about his tattoo. He got really defensive about it when she asked him. So that all sort of comes out, his side of the story. And whether that changes her feelings toward him, whether it causes some problems. Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. I am so happy. Thank you again so much. And I'm just going to grab a quick screenshot of you here. Oh, you look great. It looks amazing. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see here. Can you see it?
Oh, not really. It's all glaring. Oh, yeah.
It looks great. Thank you so much, Rhonda.
Thanks so much.
And you have a wonderful Thursday.
Thank you. And you have a nice night.
I will.
Wednesday night. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
See you.